How is everyone? Thank you for tuning into the live stream. This is the Sisters live stream. I believe our master, the family live stream for men and women will be on this Shabbat. Forgive our lateness. We're running to the wire, getting stuff done. Shalom, Sister Carrie Thompson. Shalom, Sister CL. Shalom, Sister Amy. Shalom, Lisi of House of Israelite Prepper. How is everyone? How are you ladies doing? How are you sisters doing? Light. It's been a pretty good day for us. Try to take this down just a tad. Shalom, Yisrael. Up. We have someone that wants to say shalom, right? You want to say shalom? Special star. Say shalom. We can see you. Say shalom. Hi. Say, how is everyone? Yes. What did you want to add to the live stream today? Really? Oh, you just put me in the arm. Oh, really? What did you do today? Say, I was a baby badger. Baby badger. Yeah. Say, shalom, Dada. Mama. Mama. Say, thank you. Say, food. Shalom, Sister Daniela. Say, milk. Milk. All done. Okay. We are doing our greetings, and then we will be starting. Sister Zion is on her way in. Mackie. Thank you, everyone. They say you're sweet. Yes, this is the sisters live stream in Port Johnny. How has everyone's day been? Week been? No worries. Say, how is everyone? It's been warm, but it hasn't, it's not been too bad. Garden's still doing well. Wonderful, Sister Carrie. Shalom, Sister Sky. It's been long for you working? Yes, ma'am. I understand. Dang it. Chubby! Yep. I forgot to turn it on when I went out there. Chub! Where's she at? Outside? One moment. No, that was national.
Okay, yes.
Shalom, Jay's wife. Forgive me, I'm don't remember the name. Your name, sister. Shalom, Sister Nina. Oh, really? Can you guys hear us? Okay.
Shalom, shalom, everybody. Shalom, sisters. Children do this. You have a lot of children on the homestead? They keep you busy. Everything keeps you busy. Just before the stream, we had to deal with some outside duties, so we're always busy doing something. So if y'all all will be patient with us, there was just a couple more things we needed to get set up, plus we had to have a little intervention with the children, so we'll be ready in just a moment. All right, shalom, Sister Nina. Shalom, Leslie. Or Lisi. Stop. We're not doing all that. Okay, can everybody hear us okay? Shalom, Sister Carrie. Shalom, servant of Yah. Okay, thank you, Sister Amy. Can anybody else hear us okay? Do y'all mind giving us like a sound check or press 1 or say yes or something that will let us know? Oh, thank you, Sister Carrie. Thank you, Jay's wife. A warm shot. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, hi, Rashana Yisrael. Shalom. Thank you, Lisi. Thank you, sisters. We appreciate it. We do. So we'll be ready to start in just a moment. Shalom, Latonya, Latanya, 74. I don't know how many people in the Sisters Fellowship chat that read the message I posted about the live stream today, and also what was going on with the Dr. Gina Murray. So we never really talked about the change per se of what we were doing as far as the daughters of Sarah streaming and reading the book every stream. We never really talked about why the change or how we were going to go about it, and the reason being is because it was a last minute change, and it was a very personal reason, something we weren't supposed to really share in detail. However, you know, that book is copywritten, it's copyrighted, and reading it on the stream is not a good thing for the family, for the Murrays. And we did speak with them personally, and so we, you know, we can read their book and we can do all those things, but we decided to go another direction. Another thing is, not a lot of people had the book, or there were still people getting the book and they were not caught up. And so because it was a last minute change, we wanted to give everybody time to get the book, to get caught up, and then we wanted to hit the major points in the book. We wanted to make sure the direction we're using, so we're not wasting live streams and they're not helping and benefiting anybody. So it is beneficial to allow people to get the book, and then, you know, sisters, go through it with your husbands and stuff, but we want to hit the parts that are beneficial to us, things that apply to us, because we're about improving us as wives, sisters, and things like that, and then helping the next sister, the next wife. And so we want to be on one accord. So we will get back started. I did receive a few messages about the book and where we're going to read anymore and where we're going to talk about it. Yes, we will talk about it. We will not read it word for word like we were going to do initially. We're not going to do that, but we will talk about the book. We will discuss points in the book that pertains to us. And there'll be times that we'll hit on certain topics. So right now, we're going to wait until the next Daughters of Sarah, and on the next Daughters of Sarah, not this one, but the following one, we will talk about the book. We will talk about chapter 3. So everybody has time from now to the next Daughters of Sarah to read chapter 3, which talks about the wife's role. And we'll talk about key points in that, and we can have a good, fruitful discussion. We'll be prepared, and we hope you all prepare as well. So that's really why we have not really discussed much of it. We did need to prepare for it. We did need to allow others to get the book. And we wanted to go a different direction, and also to respect the honor and the published rights that Dr. Gina Murray and her husband do have. So thank you all for being patient with us. Thank you, Sister Sky, for making that announcement. Remember, this is the Daughters of Sarah stream. Women only. Men, you can listen, but you cannot comment. Following Yahshua, we'll probably see you this Sabbath. All right, Sister Rivka. Yes, Sister Amy, I thought I should. After I got a couple messages from the Sisters Fellowship, there was a couple sisters messaged me privately about it. And they were not really sure, like, okay, well, what are we doing with that now? Because they were all excited, and somebody had just got their book, and they were waiting, and they didn't know really what was going on, and then they haven't heard from us in a while as far as streams and things like that. And, you know, there's just a lot going on. Sister Ripka and I are reaching our, I'm about to hit 7 months. Man, she's right behind. We're right there reaching our 7th month of pregnancy. There's a lot going on at the Rock, especially with the new additions, with the goats, with the chickens, with the growing of the food and storing up the food and preparing for tabernacles and preparing for this. And with us continuously getting further and further along in our pregnancy, we literally do not have time that we really want to have, expendable time. Our master is allowing us to adjust our time a bit. We're opening up little doors here and there so we can do more things, but the further we get along, we're trying to get as much done as we can before this fall, and you know, and before the time where the babies are going to come. And so there's a lot to prepare for, so we need y'all to be patient with us. That's just where we are. Like I said, we are hitting our last stage of our pregnancy, and then the homestead, that we got to prepare for the fall, prepare for the winter. There is just a lot going on. So it just takes us a little bit, but the time frame will be opening up as more time goes on, as we're further prepared. we are going to be slowing down a lot more, partly through the fall, and especially going into the winter. We will be slowing down a whole lot more, but we'll also be preparing for the babies. So, and we'll have more time on our hand at that time, though, to do a video, to do a live stream, to share with you what we've been doing. We still been doing things behind the scenes. We still been working on things. It's just a lot at one time. And both of us just happen to be this far along. So, you know, we have to juggle these things the best we can. We appreciate those who do understand, though. Yes, Sister Amy, exactly. Yes, ma'am, we sure were. Yes, Roshana. Yes, Roshana. Those times, and like I said, we are at the end. We are toward the end of it now. You know, so there's a lot to prepare for, especially when you live on a homestead. You know, we're trying to get so many things in order to be ready. Our master them are actually building the next section of our house. They already started, and him and the brethren are gonna do some things and, you know, making space for us. So we just have a lot of transitioning going on, and sometimes we speak and we feel bad because, you know, we want to interact more in the fellowship. We want to interact more in things, but there's just so much going on, and we don't know from day to day if one of us is gonna have more energy than the other. Sometimes we're carrying, we're getting heavier. As far as that is concerned, and sometimes we'll be so worn out, you know, after so many days, and sometimes I can have a really up day, and Sister Ripka just like, I'm exhausted. Then other days she's real high and she can go, and I'm like, I'm exhausted. I'm nauseous. I got something going on, and she's like, she got to pick up some slack, or I got to pick up, you know, we got to pick up where we need each other, and so. And we talk about the group like we gonna do better. However, we need some things to slow down just a bit for us. And our master did say, you know, we are working our way to that. That's why we're finishing up every little thing, the last little summer things that need to be done, preparing for the fall. And we will be able to slow down. We'll be able to do more things inside. And that will allow us to make more videos. That will allow us to, you know, spend more time doing other things that need to get done. So, yes. Can't wait to see those beautiful babies. Oh, thank you, Roshana. That's so cute. Are you all getting excited for the new additions? When I was at that stage, yes, I was excited for my daughter, but ready to be done. Yeah, you excited?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm at that stage where I'm ready to be done yet. I don't think it's that bad.
Not yet.
But I am excited.
Yes.
Very excited.
I am definitely
First child.
excited. Yeah, go ahead. First child and what? That
No,
is
just-
exciting.
Yes. First child. So yeah. No, I'm excited about that.
I'm pretty excited for her. I put a somebody gifted us with well, we know who it is now. We didn't at first. But I'm gonna just say it. Mother Kate gifted us with baby stuff. So we had all this baby stuff coming to our house, and then some stuff for the children, and we had no idea who it was from. And it was almost like a mystery, but they finally told us who it was. And so she gifted us with like new car seat, and we just put it in the van. And I was showing it to Sister Rivka. I took it out the box and I said, "Ooh, this is for your baby." And I'm like picking at her like, "Ooh, your first baby," and they're gonna be able to sit here. And we're kind of goofing around. We know we're getting closer, and we're like, "Okay,
Yes,
make
ma'am.
sure we have the car seats." And you know, we were looking through clothes, and since we don't know whether it's a boy or girl, you know, I see some baby clothes that I put aside. Okay, this is for a boy, this is for a girl. And, got the sewing machine up and running again. And I'm over here like, oh my gosh, what if the baby needs bibs? I want to try to sew one, you know, sew a bib. And got some material out to see if we can have some winter stuff going on for these babies. I just want to sew something, and we actually got some clothes, but I just want to sew something just because the new edition is going to be new, and it's kind of exciting, and I just want to do something. So we were really excited. So I guess you could say we're pretty excited.
Yes.
We just be busy.
Shalom, Sister Hannah.
She
Shalom,
said
Sister
first.
Renee.
Sister Renee said first babies are so awesome. Yeah. Sister Carol Henry, I'm excited for you both. Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Let's see, Sister Sky. I understand, Sister Zion and Sister Ripka. Y'all share enough righteousness on each live stream that we have plenty to chew on, digest, and be edified. Be an example and taking good care of each other too. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Sister Sky.
Thank you, Sister Sky. Beautiful message. Hallelujah. The sewing machine is out. Yes. And that's a task in and of itself because our spacing sometimes, but we were able to make it happen. We were able to make something happen. It's out. Already been messing with it. We got 3 of them, so we finally got our upgraded sewing machines as well. So we got some material, and some have already been cut and stuff. So it's just we tinkering with things and trying to figure the serger out. But other than that, yeah. So we got some things prepared because we will be, like I said, be able to slow down in the next month and a half, maybe month and a half. Things will start slowing down in the next 2 months. They really gonna slow down, which me and Sister Ripka got plenty of time to sit in front of the sewing machine. We, like I've said, we've already been messing with it already. I've already sold something, but it's just, little small things because I'm making sure, like the serger, I got to learn this particular brand, and then our other ones we just got set up, and we try to make sure, we have everything we need. So yes, I'm so happy about that though. We get to have things set up, and then we're also preparing the clothing and the thing, just making sure we have everything for babies. So, always not system. Let me see. Each baby you are excited to see what the little person you carry for 9 months looks like, and when you finally meet them, you fall in love each and every time. Yes, it does happen. This will be the 6th baby I've produced for Master, and yes, I am like really excited. And the little baby badger, he's extra clingy. He's getting more clingier as the days and weeks go by. It's like he knows something's up, and I'm all hugging like, this is my little baby right now, and he's really clingy. So, but yes, I'm very excited. I'm done myself. One of those, just enjoying new grandbabies. Shalom, Sister Rebecca Lynn. Shalom. How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? Sister Rebecca. Shalom, Sacred Vision. Shalom.
Shalom.
How are you? How are you? Okay. I was still in the last part of the baby story. Oh. But we are okay. So I know we had a lot of baby talk right now, and just kind of letting us set up. So thank y'all for being patient and packing. I'm doing awesome. That's good to hear. Well, we may be seeing your face soon, so that's beautiful. We'll be happy to do that. They so know and clean to their babyhood. It's crazy how big they get when a new one arrives.
I know, right?
Right.
He just start moving along faster.
Mm-hmm. And it's like so weird. It's like he wants to be a big boy in one aspect, and he just does everything. And then on the other aspect, he don't have enough nerve to talk to me, and more of a baby. Mama, what do you mean, mama? And holding on to me like I went somewhere. I'm like, I've been here the whole time. So yeah. So I'm sure once the little ones come, he's probably like, bye y'all. Hopefully. Either that or he's gonna get a little jealous. You gotta make sure he don't hit nobody because he's in the stage of fighting and he plays rough. Okay. Here we are, sis. Oh, Asai, I always say the name wrong. I can't even say your name right.
Saya.
Saya Benaya, Hosea's wife. Shalom, sis. Shalom. I remember her other name and it was like, shalom, shalom, shalom. How are you doing? We hope all is well. We are about to get started. So shalom. We did just have a little baby talk for a moment, but yes, La Perry, that was a lot easier. Shalom. How are you? Okay, so I know you, at least I hope you all pay attention to the title. The title was Making the Transition, Life, Polygyny, Homesteading. And so this is just going to be kind of a topic that goes along with a lot of multiple things that we are talking about, a lot of messages that we do get. It's talked about in the sisters chat, but it's also talked about amongst the families that we know and other families. And a lot of people are making the transition from the city to like some sort of a new transition in life. So the new transition is being made in people's lives everywhere, whether it be from where they are to marriage, or a polygynous marriage, or to marriage, and then it includes also homesteading, because the person they're marrying is homesteading. So making this transition, and because we have made the transition, and ours happen to have to do with all of it, we made the transition from just the life we had to a whole nother life. We made the transition from the city to a homestead. We made the transition obviously from being single to now being married. And Sister Rebecca got the experience of not just being married, but coming to a polygynous marriage, and her angle at coming from being a woman who was out there, who was single, to not just she's making a transition from a big city, but she's going to off-grid. Plus, she's coming one with her head, and then on top of that, she's a second wife to him, and you know, now she has sister wife and a whole bunch of children. That is a transition, huh? She done went from 0 to 5 children in over a night. So that's the transition, you know. And a lot of families now we know that we know of, even in our little circle, as well as our extended family. A lot of sisters are betrothed right now, or courting right now, and they are in that exact same spot and moment where they're about to make this transition from being single to married, being single to married, and being a sister wife, being single to being married, a sister wife, and moving on a homestead, moving in some sort of lifestyle that is totally different than what you're used to. So we want to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about, are you prepared? Let's talk about, did you think about everything that comes along with that? Let's share some details about some things. Sister Ripka's going to share her testimony, and also what came along with that, because it has to be different to be single and then to overnight I have 5 children and I'm responsible for caring for them, and then in this type of setting, I mean, now I'm gardening and I'm doing all sorts of things I ain't never done, and how it requires a big change from where she was, what she was doing. And then I'll also talk about a little bit from how my transitions, but the steps that I've had to make. So you sisters can be prepared. You want to be prepared. If you already know that you're courting, or you sisters who are looking for husbands, you want to be prepared for something like this, because this is not an easy transition overnight. So that's what we will be talking about. All right, Sister Ripka, let's start with your testimony.
So my transition. I did try to prepare as much. I did try to prepare as much as I could for biblical marriage, and for, well, I didn't know if I would be a, first wife or coming into an already established marriage. But I did try to prepare myself to be a wife and know what a wife's role was and what a husband's role was. So I came from the city, the cities. I really didn't like the outside. Never went camping. any of that. Maybe a little bit when I was younger, because my grandfather liked to do that, hunting and stuff. I really went hunting with him one time, but I think I stayed in the camper. I never really did any outdoors things, camping, hunting, or any of that with my father. Maybe when I was really, really young, because he is a country boy, so to speak, from Mississippi. He did all of that when he was younger, but he never did that with us. So I never really had any type of, being outdoors. I never really had a desire. Shalom. This is the sister stream. Not sure if it was established on the title, but this is a sister stream for sisters only, and the men can watch. We just please ask that you refrain from making any comments. No problem. Shalom.
Shalom, Eliana, Ben. We were just in the middle of Sister Ripley's testimony, and based on the topic, and I guess you can just rewind whatever you missed in the earlier portion. But shalom and good to see you. Go ahead.
So as I was, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. As I was, coming into the faith, seeing what our culture was, I, was praying to the Father to give me understanding of what a wife was, husband's role was, giving me the desire of what he wanted me to do, and I slowly began to desire to, do more organic stuff, healthy stuff, growing foods, things of that nature, doing more gardening and stuff like that. I never really got a chance to, because I didn't have my own place established. Long story short, I ended up, before marrying my master, I was living with my mother. I would talk to her about, starting a garden and stuff like that, but we never got a chance to. So, never really got a chance to garden. I did have the desire to do that. Growing food and, self-sustaining. I did see what was going on in the world. I believe God slowly opened up my eyes to that, to see, things that was going on in the world, and knowing that we needed to be separate, be set apart. And I did have the desire to do homesteading. Not really specifically off grid, but I was not opposed to it. I know that I did have the desire to homestead. So searching for understanding on what polygyny was, because when I came into the faith and the idea of polygyny first came, of course the normal thoughts of what women have coming from the Western world is, why do men need multiple wives? What's wrong with having one wife? They're selfish, they greedy. All of those different thoughts came to mind, but I knew that I did want to be in the will of the Father, and if this was true, and possibly, I didn't know if it was, and I didn't know if I would be in a biblical marriage, polygyny. But if it was, I did want to have my heart right. And so searching for that, and also wanting understanding on what submission was, and those type of things, on what a wife's role was, I did come across my master's videos of him and Sister Zion when they were in Arizona, and I began to follow his teaching. I began to get more understanding about biblical marriage, about, husband's role, wife's role, submission, polygyny, things of that nature. And also, he was talking about homesteading and living off grid. So, I slowly began to desire that. I slowly began to get understanding of that. And I wouldn't say that I was prepared or preparing. I guess I most was preparing my mind and saying, okay, whatever Yah has for me, whether it be biblical marriage, whether it be off-grid, homesteading, so on and so forth, that that's what Yah has for me, and I would take it gladly. So I was in a relationship before meeting my master, and they were following the camps, so it was different mindsets, and I was battling with that. Not really. So y'all had y'all's first bowl, y'all get y'all's in a little bit. So I was battling with that, and in that I reached out to my master and began to inquire and get more understanding about the information that I was getting from that person, and from the videos that I was watching from the camps and different people. I wanted to ask questions and get understanding from him, from my master, who at that time wasn't my master, but ended up being my master. But he was teaching truth, and he taught from the word, and he made it plain, gave understanding, and so I reached out to him to get understanding on that. And in that time span from when I first reached out to him, it was a year, and in that year I kept watching his channel, maybe one or two other channels. I did watch and get understanding from. I took what I could from them, but I did get a lot of my understanding from my master. And got as much as I could. Of course, it's different from learning about it, getting understanding, and actually having hands-on, like you're in it and learning. You can only learn or get information or get understanding so much without having actual hands-on experience. And I didn't have anyone else. I didn't have a fellowship that I was affiliated with. There are many polygynous families in the light for us to learn from, see biblical marriage actually being lived out. So it's only so much information that we have right now, and I think that's what my master is so adamant about, us sharing and us having a live stream, doing the videos and stuff, because there aren't that many biblical marriages that are willing and that are out there for us to see and actually see how things are, learning from it, getting information from it. We're all coming from the Western world. We all have to do a renewing of the mind. We're all trying to get understanding. We're all coming into the faith and the truth, so we're all learning. It's we don't have that many older women to learn from or to teach us. We're basically learning from trial and error and learning from each other. Watching each other's mistakes and stuff like that. So that was another transition, is not having many examples to watch and to choose from. I mean, not choose from, but to watch and to get understanding from, and actually see it in fruition. And so that's what I tried to do, was get as much information as I could. Right before me and Master got married is when I actually found out about Dr. Gina Murray's book, The Them and Him. I wish I would have known about it before, then I could have read it and really marinated on it. But right before I married Master is when I got knowledge of the book of Dr. Gina Murray. And what else? I do. When I transitioned, and it was a fast transition. I had been praying to the Father to, show me who my husband was. Where is my husband? Y'all let my husband, find me. And being that I was 34 at the time, now 35, it was kind of iffy on if my husband was ever gonna find me, or if I was ever gonna find my husband. I was getting older. I'm like, I'm getting closer to. I'm so close to 40. I don't know.
34?
Right. Shoot, that's almost half.
Almost half.
I'm in my 30s, getting into my late 40s. I mean, not late 40s, but getting into my late 30s. I'm closer to 30. That was in my mind.
I'm almost 50.
Didn't have any children. I was thankful to God that I did not have any children, but I always desired to have children ever since I was young. I don't know. I always had that motherly characteristic. Taking care of children, loving children. My nieces, they're like my children, so on and so forth. So, and taking on my master's children that him and Zion already have was easy for me. I love children, and I guess that's one of the things that Yah put inside of me.
Sister Amy says, "Why not? She feel old."
Really? Technically it's not old, but
she's in her 40s, so if you say you felt so old, then she really felt old.
Well, no, I'm not saying that that's old. I'm just saying that I had no prospect of a husband at that time, and I didn't know if, being that it's so hard to find true people in the faith, I didn't know if, my husband was ever going to find me, or how I was ever going to, for my husband to find me, because I wasn't a part of any fellowship or anything like that. So I not ended up, but y'all made it so, y'all just made a way.
Yes, he did.
I reached out to my master on YouTube. He was teaching on YouTube. So, I know that I was made for I am my master's rib, and I was made for him. It's just amazing how done. Like, he found me through YouTube. I found him through YouTube. So,
still seem to be better than Facebook.
Yeah.
From the testimonies I hear about finding people through certain, because nowadays you do want to get to know the person and see them in face to face, see them in face. You want to see them face to face. However, sometimes we don't have that, the way we would like right now until Israel come together more. But then you can see each other more often and more feast. As people are learning, transitioning, and actually start coming together more, we'll be able to do that. So, and I know Master was very skeptical, wanting another wife. He wanted that, and he was very skeptical on which route he was going to do it. And y'all know I've done videos on it, and I was like, I'm helping him find the next wife. I wanted to be a part of that role. That was very important to me, and it was important to him too. And he was actually happy that I wanted to do it. And I begged him actually to let me look on Facebook, just because I'm like, where are we going to find anybody? We don't know anybody. We live in sticks. We don't have neighbors. The people we fellowship with is not anybody we're really close to like that, because we have a channel and we know people, but everybody live like states and states away, and we never even met some of these people in person. I said, I don't know how you going to find one that if we don't, you know, go to Facebook, I guess. But everybody was going around Facebook, and there's been so many bad things that have come of it. And many people can put up anything for Facebook. And he was like, the closest thing to social media I will be using is YouTube, unless the father says something different. And good thing he did. He's happy about that. But I did beg him for a while, like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I can get to at least get an idea of who some of these sisters are, and some of the people on our channel might have a Facebook, and maybe, you know, some way we can use them together. Anyways, that's another story for another time. However, we went YouTube, and YouTube worked out better than before. We still prefer face to face. We'd rather people be in fellowship in some way, shape, fashion, or form. That is most optimal. That is most preferred way. But we use what we have while we can. And that's what we did. So yes, it is hard to trust people. Sister Carrie, Eliana says sounds like me. Sister Carrie, yeah, it's hard. It is hard to trust people. That's why we want to see them. Shalom, real quick before we go any further. Shalom, Princess Armaria Yasharala. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce your name right. Please forgive me. And there was a couple other people. I think I sent the shalom to Sister. Who just came into the room? I was trying to remember. Sister Sierra, that's who it was. So shalom to everybody we missed. And anybody else I missed. But yeah, okay, let's see what Sister Sky is saying. That is one point for an Israelite woman to accept, embrace, and promote. That another woman was also made for her husband. Read, multiple women may be meet to fulfill his needs. Pride will block this fact from manifesting, and peace to come between the sisters. Yes. Sister Sky, you are so right. You know, and that, I think that was part of more of my transition, because you are used to at first being the only one there. Maybe you thought like I did. I did think I was going to be the only one there because, of course, we weren't Israelites at the time to start. At least we didn't know it, and that's how, obviously we thought marriage was going to be. But by the time, Yah took us through so many changes when we first came to the faith. We weren't even a year in before the father started, removing things, and we were challenged. Our children were, I remember the first time our master came to us and was like, Yah basically gave me an answer. We were fighting for children we had in previous marriage relationship for myself. So 4 other children that we don't have anymore. And I remember just us trying to strive to get everything lined up and living once we knew we were Israelites, and we were like about moving. We were really zealous. And it wasn't even a year in, and we were already, dealing with this challenge of what we were going to do about our 4 children, because sharing just became even that much more difficult. Just the year that we came to the way, or the year we found out, we started knowing what we were doing and keeping the commandments like for real, we got that challenge. And boy, with that first year, we were already challenged with everything. And I remember even just the way it felt. It seemed like it was just real serious when master comes to me out of nowhere. I'm not even sure biblical order yet, and obeying him yet. We're just getting our foot in the door and saying, the father gave me an answer, and he's trying to figure out. He's like, I'm sure, but I'm also still learning myself, and this is what we got to do with the children. It started from the get-go. So by the time polygyny came around, I said that to say, by the time polygyny came around, it was almost like that same feeling, like, man, we just getting our foot in the door, and it's already something. But I was very appreciative of that, and I just kind of knew, okay, yes, it's going to take a lot of humility. It's going to take some understanding on my half, so let me get right to the Father immediately. I'm like, Father, change my heart. I already know I'm jacked up. I know I'm having a hard time seeing why this man need another help me. I'm having a hard time seeing it right now, but your word says it. Your word is true. So since your word is true, that means something wrong with my mind, something wrong with my thinking. And I started praying that. As soon as I knew it was that they can do it, and I seen it in the word, it was proven, I immediately was like, better get to praying, because I already know that if I don't get the understanding that Yah can provide for me, I'm going to be all jacked up. I'm not going to be able to accept that. I will be too prideful about it, and partly hurt and rejected, and so on and so forth. And it was a good thing I did, because he changed it in a way that I can't even look back on myself now and imagine me accepting what have accepted now and embraced now. Like, if I look back on keeping that mindset and having this sister here, that, man, it'll be crazy. I don't know if we would have a marriage right now. You know, so I'm thankful to the Father that He has changed it, and I'm very comfortable with her being here. Part of my transition in that area, I'm very comfortable with her being here. It's like, oh, this feels natural. This is how I was always supposed to be. You know, we got to adjust, obviously, to, all right, working together and how we work together for the sake of our master helping his vision, come together as sisters to get things done. I mean, we're working on that part, but outside of that, it's natural for her to be here. I don't know what would happen if I woke up and she wasn't here. I'm like, what's going on? Something wrong with our life. Something's missing. So, yes, you got to put the pride down. So, I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm interviewing you for a temporary amount of time before we move on. So, was what you prepared for, and when you got here and had to labor and actually put everything into action, how big of a difference was it?
It was a major difference. Yeah, like I said, actually, trying to learn as much as you can beforehand, and actually coming into the actual situation and hands-on experience is, I would say, is a pretty big difference. Because, like I said, there's no actual examples that we can glean from to actually know how it's going to be. I didn't know how biblical marriage was going to be, or how it would feel coming into an already established marriage, or being in polygyny altogether. So I did try to prepare my mind as much as I could. I mean, of course, it was a little apprehension, but at the same time, I wasn't. I was not. What is the word? Fighting it or anything like that. I wanted to. I knew that my master was my husband, and I was his wife, and so I had in my mind that whatever the Father has for me, I was kind of like gun-ho at first, and then when you come into the situation, you're like, oh shoot, all of this. Yeah, but it's just a learning experience, and humbling experience. It's a lot to learn, being that I'm coming out of the world, not learning from, not like a second generation Israelite or anything like that. Like, I'm coming from Christianity and learning about polygyny, and now I'm in a polygynous relationship, polygynous marriage, and I'm the one learning everything. So it'll be different. Like, it's different for Master's children, Master and Zion's children right now, because they're actually born into it and they're learning it. They think totally differently. Whereas for us, we're having to literally relearn everything coming as a newborn child. So it is different. I mean, you don't really know what to expect, and or how it's going to be, or how you should be, or how things should be. It was a learning experience all around.
So, that's another question. How, from the way you thought of it in your interaction with me, being that you were going to have a sister wife, or sister wives at the time, and how different was it of how much you thought you had to be involved with the other wives versus how much Master tells you need to be involved? Like, how big of a difference was that?
I mean, I know that every marriage can be different. Men can run their households differently. They can have their wives living separately. They can have their wives living together. When me and Master recording, you know, he explained how he runs his household and how he expects his household to be ran and how his wife should be. I mean, in my mind, I knew that we would be close. We would be sister wives, co-wives. I would say that, I mean, of course there are challenges, being that it's pretty much your sisters with someone that you just met automatically. So it's learning, it's not like you were friends before and now you became best friends and so on and so forth. It's like, this is your sister, your best friend, everything. You're having to learn each other, you're having to do all of these things, and knowing that this is what I want to say, Master is one with each of us, so we need to be one with each other also. And is you have to be humble. That was one of I did ask one of the questions on the sisters chat about what people's definition or understanding of sisterhood and biblical marriage was, because I mean it is different from sisterhood from just fellowshipping with people, because you don't actually live with those women or those sisters. You talk on the phone or you fellowship for a time, but you don't actually live with them 24/7 or have to interact with them 24/7. So in my mind, it's a different sisterhood than from fellowshipping sisters, friend sisters, than in a biblical marriage where this is your actual sister living together for the rest of your life. So you have to be humble. You have to have humility. You have to love your sister as yourself, literally. You know, it's all those different things that you have to learn that we're not taught in the world. Really maybe not even taught in your own flesh and blood sisters. Like growing up in the Western world, we're not taught the same. So it's just, I can say I didn't know what to expect. I tried to prepare as much as I could. You always think that you're one way, you know, oh, I'm humble, oh, I'm friendly, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that, and then you get into the situation and all these things come up, all these emotions, all these things in your personality and characteristics that you didn't think you had, but they're really there and you have to get rid of. And you know, spiritual growth, all of these things, changing mindset, learning biblical order, and learning what a true Israelite woman is and true Israelite sister is, and true Israelite wife is just a learning experience, and you're learning it in the situation, in the marriage, as you go along. You're actually in it, hands-on.
So, as far as Sister Renee, really? Well, I want to give her due honor. I want to listen to what she's saying. Like, this is important, y'all, because, you know, and we're going to go on further in the topic, but this is something that people can learn from, because again, like how she's saying, we didn't have no examples, and that's, you know, one thing that I wish I had. At the same time, y'all got to use somebody to start the example, I guess, you know. And I had to follow my face 100 times so other people can also benefit, and I'm like, well, I gotta follow my face that many times first. Like, I couldn't be just benefiting, but so be it. You know, everybody has a role to play, and I guess I just figured I better just start embracing it and start embracing this role. If he has to use me as an example of somebody that had to fall and make a ton of mistakes so other sisters can benefit. To y'all be the glorious. At least he gets the glory. And if I'm serious, and if I hang in there, and if I trust the Father, he's still gonna lift me up. And if I humble myself, he's still gonna lift me up. He's still gonna get me flat off my face, wiping poo-poo off my face, and because he had to humble me 100,000 times for me to get some things through my head. But because I willingly submitted and allowed him to humble me, and stuck it out, and other sisters grow for it. I mean, if that's what it meant, and other people can grow, and other people now have an example, and now more women and men and families are coming together to serve our Father, then it's all worth it. You don't see it at first, but you do see it later, and that's in scripture. Like Yah says, he chastens those whom he loves and scourges every son he receives. So he said if he loves you, he gonna chasten you. So I guess me falling flat on my face this many times so I can be example to somebody, whether it be one person or two or whatever, then I guess at least I can look at it and say I'm getting chastened, so at least he's still like, I'm still with you. At least that's something I can look forward to. And I know, okay, if I humble myself though, and if I submit to whatever he's trying to do here, he has a bigger plan that's bigger than me. But he's not gonna just let me just lay there on the ground all jacked up. He's gonna get me and clean me up, and we'll see the purpose. And it's awesome when I hear sisters, like some of you sisters send messages and like, oh, I'm learning from you. I'm like, I don't know how. I done failed like 100 times, 300 times. But I'm just like, I'm excited because apparently y'all are getting results from me falling flat on my face this many times, trying to learn through all this trial and error. Y'all are getting results. And it's like, well, at least somebody's getting results. And, for me, it's just like hanging in there enough so y'all can like, okay, now I've humbled you enough. Now I can use you in other ways too. I've been able to use you while being in this process, but I also can use you even the more so. And I mean, she get to learn from my mistakes, and I'm learning things that she's picking up on and learning back from her and stuff like that. So it is not easy, but it is definitely, if it means y'all gets the glory, if it means families are growing, people are coming out, people are learning, coming from this wicked society. Because I tell you this, because I fell on my face 100, 200, 300 times, 1,000 times, I don't know, since I've been in the faith, I hate now with the passion of the wicked stuff that we've been taught. That makes me even more hate with a passion the wicked things that we've been taught from this system, because if it messed me up as bad, that means it does some damage to us sisters and our minds and stuff like that. And the more I fall and the more I have to work through this, I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, what did this stuff really do to us? You know what I mean? And the more I am passionate about, getting these children more and more in order, getting these children away from this stuff, getting, being able to be an example or one way or another, or giving out a testimony so y'all can learn ahead of time. Like, if we didn't have an example either, but it's even more important now that I have a testimony to give you, so you don't go through what I've been through. Because I don't even know if I want my enemies to go through some of the stuff I've been through. But what I've been through does allow me to give a testimony, and that testimony can help strengthen some of you, and you can avoid these things. And this topic was very important because, you know what, since all these families are going polygynous, all these families are going homesteading, all these families just transitioning just from society to being a biblical woman, the transformation, you need to know what you're stepping into. You need to know what you're getting yourself into. And as sister could just testify to you, she tried to prepare it as much as she can, but there's a totally different story when you are living it daily compared to preparing for it out on your own. Because you always gonna prepare for it the way you think, and at your own comfort zone. Because did you not have to come out of your comfort zone? Like, you had a certain comfort, and that was just like, whoa, move like out of your comfort. I mean, yeah, that you get put out of your comfort zone. When you prepare for stuff on yourself, you make yourself comfortable while you're doing it. Especially when you're single, you ain't got nobody to tell you what to do really. You kind of do it in your own comfort zone, your own pace, your own way of going about it. If you don't want to do something this day, you ain't got to do it that way. You can, do all that. When you gotta, you get married and you got somebody in your grill now, like, move, change. That ain't good enough. You're like, oh shoot, the heck did I just get slapped with it? You know, and the same has happened for me as well. You know, coming from the way I thought things were done, and even coming into marriage and still kind of being Christian, and then transitioning to being an Israelite. I mean, everything was starting to come out of my comfort zone. It's like no matter what I did, everything was wrong. I'm like, oh my gosh, everything is wrong. Like every day I'm finding out something's wrong, or here I am and I'm confidently doing this and that's wrong. Get that together. This sucks. This ain't making me happy. This is this. You gotta work harder on this. You need to get up sooner to do this. You're too late. I was like, oh my gosh, well, I'm that bad. Like, so you can tell you what type of women and type of people society create. They create a bunch of they don't equip us for anything. Because I wasn't equipped at all. You know what I mean? They don't equip us for this. And then now you have sisters, and then we have no righteous examples ahead of us, or we're not ahead of us. And, you know, like Master had to get on me so many times to try to tell me, you know, you do not fit the description of the aged women as far as your age, your actual age, but you are part of that group somewhat by going through experiences. You are not in the age category, and there will be women probably that, you know, will learn and come in fellowship with that are able to teach you. But until then, on the spiritual side of things, and based on what you've been through and how long you've been in the way and stuff like that, you do have some knowledge that you may have to use to help others. And I'm like, oh brother. Because, you know, I'm like, well, who gonna teach me? Like, I'm trying to help everybody else learn from my faults, and but I need somebody to help show me an example. And sure enough, the Father still does provide. I mean, I have beautiful people who are now a part of our lives who are full of knowledge, and I'm going to name a couple of them, and you probably would agree. And one that we have in common that we both know very well is Sister Sky. She's older than me. She ain't aged like that either, but she older than us. She has experiences we didn't have. She has knowledge that you just like, oh goodness, she know a lot. And you know, but it's like so beautiful. It's like because she, you know, take us on, and we're like her little sisters. And she take us and she just fills us with knowledge. And sometimes I don't even feel equipped to help her because she got all the knowledge, and she over here telling me what I'm teaching her. I'm like, what? I taught you what? You know, it's a shock to me. It's an honor too. But it's a shock that she learned something from me. Like, I'm only 31 years old. What you talking about? I'm still trying to figure it out. And she said she's been blessed by us. She's been blessed by our family. So it's like, well, I guess, you know, Yah used it as a trade-off or however he did it. But she does have wisdom that I don't have. I'm not her age. I have not had some of the experiences she had for as many years that she has had them. And she's a great encouragement to me. As far as, and this part is meaning, you know, as far as an older woman teaching you, but she's probably my real first or second example of anything. You know, I had a couple other sisters that I learned some things from that were older women here and there. Minimal information here, little information over here, but I have not seen anybody where I can see face to face walk this out, or no information that they could pass down to me so I can be a better daughter of Zion, a better wife, a better sister, you know. And like I said, until Sister Sky came along, where I've had an example in my face. She is the first example that's been directly in my face that I could hug her neck, I could fellowship, and I could learn directly from her. Would you say the same? Yes. So she's that first example, you know. And as far as my sister here, I mean, we are probably the first to each other, you know, in the sense that we're in each other's face. But outside of our home, she would be that person. And then Sister Angela, I know y'all seen her on here. She has a lot of wisdom. She has a lot of wisdom. She's older than me, and although I haven't seen her face to face yet, I would like to do that. But until then, there is a lot of wisdom she's been able to give to me, with me being younger, and she's been able to tell me certain things and things that have successfully worked when she had told them to me. And so, but other than that, like I said, I have not had an example. The Father did provide, and now I have sisters. I have a sister at home, and then I have sisters we fellowship with who are also examples to us, and we hope that we are examples to them as well, in the areas that y'all can use us to be examples to them. So until then, so it is different, all in all, when you are physically there and you have to manifest these things, and these things have to be performed daily. And the person that you have to perform is with in your face, like this, from elbow to elbow. And that's just not just with me. This is just in the business aspect of the change. You know, the life changes. It's a totally different thing. It's a totally different thing of knowing how you're gonna humble yourself in your mind when you're by yourself, and then when you're right there with a person, and that day that the person just maybe just irritated you or something, or rubbed you the wrong way, and you have to still be humble and smile them in the face and say, you know, let me humble myself. Like, that's totally different when you're face to face all the time, and trying to get your emotions right and say, okay, don't take this on. It's supposed to be my sister, but at the same time, it's a complete stranger. I just met her like not too long ago. I don't know if she mean well, you know, and putting yourself like, listen, you know, this is the wrong way of thinking. That I shouldn't think that way. This is the way I'm supposed to think, and to remind yourself of that. So, thank you for your testimony. And that's just in that aspect. That's in the religious aspect. We, you know, and life changes. Now, when it comes to the homesteading, I mean, did you think homesteading was going to be as time consuming? Or
No. Not necessarily, because again, no examples, didn't live around it, had no experience in it. So no, I did not know how much work, how much time, how much hard labor was involved in homesteading, especially off the grid. So no. It's a lot of work. You know, I am thankful for it. I do love it. Actually performing it, using your own hands, growing, building, everything is done with your own two hands. Done as a family together, just growing and building together, and it's all yours. It's all the family's. So
right. And I know this is like a little intervention, but I'm gonna brag about it a little bit, because I mean, these are the good times that come along with this sort of life, as we're talking about it. What did you just make? They just came from our yard that Master just loved, and you've never even made it before.
oh, salsa
Yes. And everything you got where?
from the garden. Yeah, it's very exciting and you know, fulfilling to go to your garden and get everything that you need to make food for the family to eat, or food to eat, and fresh, better than organic food that you buy from the grocery store. You know, it is very exciting and very fulfilling, and you know, I'm happy to go like to the garden and get everything that we're going to eat.
And how did you feel when Master was talking about how good it was?
I was happy.
You should have seen her smile. Her smile went from, you know, just a certain thing. This smile just got this big, like, what? All right. So, I mean, and those are the good little perks. And I'm sorry that was like a little intervention, but it is something you had to talk about. It was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful experience. We get really excited when we're using something here, and then if he says it's good, because he is not easy. He's not an easy person to be like. He don't just take anything and be like, oh, that's good. He won't even tell you that it's good, because he already know it ain't good. He ain't saying it. So if he says it's good, you did something. You made a step. So I just saw that smile just come up. And then we had a couple more of those this week when he was telling us that we were putting together some meals that were very good, and a lot of stuff we took from the garden. So it was like, yes, you know, and you can see the excitement on both of our faces, like, because in the meals that we were putting together, you know, we were trying to work with items that we didn't really work with before, and we're getting stuff from the garden to make sure we flavor stuff right, because Master like a lot of flavor in his meals, and we're just like hoping that some of these items work, and you know, sometimes he likes changes, so we're trying to fit his needs. And this week been one of those weeks, you know, that we got to try to fit his needs, make something different. Don't do the same thing. Don't be, make the same boring thing over and over. Now that we got the food coming in, he want to see what we're going to do. And so to even get him to say anything like great about it, like this has been good, we were both in there just smiling, and she's been like, okay, it's working, you know. So that is another beautiful thing. That's the great thing about the homesteading you get to do. But what you gotta know is how much labor you gonna do. You gotta put in. If you, whatever you want to come out of it, you gotta make that experience. You gotta put into it like daily. I mean, Sister Rivka and I mean, like how we said earlier, we're caring. We have 5 children. We homeschool. They're back in session right now. I mean, I've been like, woo, trying to get the times exactly how I want them to be, getting their work ready. She prepares certain work for them, and then I prepare and go on the teaching, and you know, getting them all at the stages that they are. Still having a 1-year-old running around here, being a badger, and still preparing for what's to come and everything that's going on. I mean, it's a lot of work, and we had to start establishing some things around here to make it more easier to transition into everything we have to do. I mean, then we got animals, and that just added on a whole nother ball game. You know, we have to chat over what time are we going out every morning, and we meet each other. In fact, the days our master go to work, we have to put a time frame and say, listen, we gonna meet at a certain time, and we gonna knock out this task, because we gotta get through every animal. We gotta get to them in time, because you know, you don't want them to run out of no food, no water. We don't want them to run out of the things that they need to survive. You know, checking on them and making sure we have everything. And it just added a whole nother thing to our plate. You know what I mean? And so the homesteading, you want something out of it, you got to put into it. And we're learning. Even if we make error, we get to see what that error does. So we have a goat, a female goat. Now, she already came to us kind of not producing as much milk. She didn't have her baby, her kid. And when we first got her, the first couple of days, we couldn't really milk her right. She had a teat that was either swollen or something happened, because we couldn't get milk to come out of it. It's full, and when the more days you go and you're not able to milk it and stuff, you lose out. Her milk production was going lower, and we can see it, and we're frustrated. We're doing everything we've been taught to do. You know, Sister Nina, God bless you. Sister Nina, we got with her, got to talking to her, and she gave us a tip, and we took that tip, and it worked, and we got her other teeth, or it's not just called teeth. We're gonna call it teeth right now. Her udder teeth, kind of what it is. And so we got that working, and we were able to get the milk, and we saw slowly how her milk production was rising again. And you know, and every once in a while it'll go lower again, because we realized now you have goats, now we have to treat her for worms. This homesteading thing comes with a lot, and like I say all that because it comes with a lot. We are over here, and before we didn't have to meet and make sure this goat get milked in the timely fashion every day, but now you have to, because if you don't, you gonna know there's a problem, because her milk gonna start going low, and if her milk get too low, you may not get no milk, you know. And then you got to pay attention to signs. You know, we learn from Mother Kate that watch certain things on her body. It's going to tell you they get worms. That's something. And we have to do the research. And oh my gosh, if you don't treat them for worms in a good enough time, a lot of goats will die from stuff like that. You know, so that's a whole nother thing. And some of y'all are going into homesteading, and some of y'all say, we want chickens, we want goats. You want the responsibility that come along with it too. There's a lot of responsibility. You know, there's the good side of I'm going to eat lots of eggs and I'm going to do all these great things. And there's also the side of I better take care of business first. Make sure these chickens even survive. You got to protect these chickens. You got to make sure they get the water, the food. You got to protect them from predators. You know, we got to watch for things. We got to listen out really good now, even more so. Every noise we hear outside, because something could be attacking your chickens. Our goats, let me give you something for them. While we're waiting for the goat pen, I mean, we gotta watch the goats. We gotta make sure our dogs don't attack them. We gotta make sure something like that doesn't happen. Then you gotta make sure other dogs from other properties don't come and attack your goats. We've been hearing testimonies and stories of people losing goats because stray dogs from other properties have come and attacked them and killed people's goats. Then you gotta worry about their health. I mean, so we want to present this to you from our standpoint, because this is what we're living right now today. This is our daily life. This is every day for us, you know. So our transition from where we were, the city, air conditioner. You ain't worried about no chickens, no goats. You just go to the grocery store. There you go. If I want some milk, we go to the grocery store. Yeah, it's gonna be
Right.
pasteurized and only cow milk most of the time, but still,
Right.
got some milk. But you know, and now we are reaping the benefits of our labor, right? And do you want to talk about some more on this homesteading aspect? Because I mean, what have you seen, like in the labor and things that if we're not on top of it good enough, you know, what we have seen, you know, start to go downhill versus when we're on top of it, some of the benefits that we can reap from it. Do you have anything that maybe
I mean, on a homestead, you literally have to do everything. You have to watch after every single animal. You have chickens, goats, dogs, cats. Are we gonna get too much?
we're supposed to?
We're getting
More goats.
We have two
We
goats.
miss
We're
out.
gonna be getting more goats. And just you have to be prioritized. You have to not forget to make sure animals have water. Goats have to have fresh water at least once a day. It's good to change it every day and give them fresh water because they're just picky like that. And that's what we're dealing with our goats, is making sure that they're getting water. We have to put apple cider vinegar in there, a little bit of apple cider vinegar in their water to get them to drink it, or molasses, just to get them to drink their water. And they're picky. That's just their nature. They have to have fresh water. The chickens, on the other hand, their water doesn't have to be fresh. We just have to make sure that they have ample amount of water. And the chickens and the goats, pretty much all the animals, eat all day long. So we have to make sure they always have food, always have water, and then taking care of the gardens, living off grid. Not everything is as easy to do. We don't have running water here. We do have water, but we actually have to, you know, go get the water. It's not as easy as turning on a faucet and doing all that type of stuff. So everything kind of takes time living off grid on a homestead, whereas say if you were living in the city and so on and so forth. So in that aspect, you literally have to plan what you're gonna do. Anything, take showers, washing dishes, cooking. We use propane for cooking, making sure that we have enough propane. We have to go out and get propane in order for us to be able to cook. If we want to cook outside on the wood burning stove, on the rocket stove, we have to go get the wood, gather the wood, make sure we have ample enough wood, feed the fire to make sure that we're able to cook for however long it needs to be cooked. I mean, it's just so many different aspects. Making sure that the animals are safe, don't get eaten, run away.
Right.
Making sure that we feed them the right foods, that we don't feed them something that they're not supposed to have or something that may potentially kill them or harm them in any way. It's just so many things that you have to learn, so many things that you have to keep in mind, keep in remembrance. Always stay on top of things, because if you don't stay on top of things with goats equals escape artists.
Right. Either that or they try to kill themselves.
They're very stubborn. Yeah.
And one tried to kill itself already because it is just not. One thing you gonna learn about goats, I know I'm kind of intervening if you don't mind, just for a quick moment. One thing you gotta learn about goats, they're just not smart. Sometimes when it's so funny, I was talking about the goat as I'm untangling him, who keeps tangling himself. I'm like, man, you're not smart. I thought to myself one day I had to get a laugh out. Like, that's how men think about us women. Like, they're just not smart. I was like, dang, as much as I'm telling this goat, you just not smart. I always got to get you out of this trouble. I'm thinking about how much trouble Master Mary got me out of. Like, you were just not smart, are you? I'm like, I'm just performing what the world taught me. I mean, give me a little, you know, be merciful, man. I gotta learn from, you know. And no, apparently I wasn't very smart. They didn't teach me to be smart. They taught me to be a robot to society. They taught me how to just perform the way they wanted me to. But I just did get a little laugh at that because that's what I think every time I say, Roger, you're just not smart. I be out there entangling him. I'm like, you're just not smart. You're not a smart goat. Like, you just look lost. And I'm thinking, that's how the men feel about us women. I be hearing some of the brothers when, you know, little chats or something, they speaking a little loud and they be talking about how we just were not taught, and it's like, oh, y'all, come on now, women, y'all need to get it together. I'm like, dang, this is how they feel about us, looking at Roger. Or maybe that's the Holy Spirit convicting me a little bit, like, yeah, I be trying to tell you, you ain't smart. Pay attention, focus, like, oh. So, yeah, they're escape artists, they're stubborn. They bring the Bible to life.
Homesteading.
Yes, Homesteading bring the Bible to life, but even with the goats, like I've seen examples now, and I'm sure you have too, and you can maybe speak on it a little bit more if you like. But like, okay, with planting and gardening, you know, you get to see the parables in the Bible about when you plant a seed and the one that, you know, dies immediately, the enemy got to it, and one that's grown on good ground, how it's going to produce fruit. We get to see that in our plants, and, you know, and that's in Matthew for you all who haven't read it, or it's through the gospel, in reality, it's through Matthew, Mark, and Luke. So we've been noticing, since we've been planting food, we get to see what fruit-bearing plants do, and when they don't have enough nutrients, what happens. You know, we get to see those biblical examples right outside right outside on the homestead. But in goats, you know, there's parables in the Bible that when the Father comes and judgment is there, on one side is going to be goats and on one side is going to be sheep. And it talks about the rebellion of a goat. You know, through scripture, you know, goats are going to be those stubborn ones who didn't get it together, and then the sheep are the obedient and stuff. And, you know, I don't know, we haven't raised sheep. Maybe one day the Father, y'all willing, we will, or have the experience somehow. But we have goats, and when we milk our female doe, she show us what this stubbornness is about. And you know, and like I said, I like to meditate now when we are interacting outside in any way on how I like to put myself in that position. Like I said, when I look at our male goat, who's still a kid, by the way, he's still a baby, and he's not very smart, and he tangles himself in the worst ways I've ever seen a goat do, like all the time. And I'm watching him like, man, you're not smart. I tell myself, I think about the dumb things that I do, and I'm like, man, I'm not smart. You know, because I want to remind myself so I can do better. But when I see our female doe and we're milking her, and she has her good days, and she has her bad days where she can be stubborn. Would you say? She can get real.
She's stubborn all the time, but she may
Also.
start out good and you know, stubborn is different. She's our stubborn goat.
She's stubborn. Okay.
She should be over it by now.
She probably should be over it. Like, this is the same process every morning. You should be used to it. But she gets real stubborn, and I'm like, man, you stubborn. And I start thinking, like, am I this stubborn? Like, I really had to place myself there, and I start thinking of scriptures about stubbornness. And then it brings the Bible to life. You know, goats, you know, that's why he said sheep going to be on one side, and those going to be the ones that are righteous, and the goats on the other side. I'm like, that's why, because y'all stubborn. And if I don't be careful, I don't want to be that. I don't want to go that way. Where I'm, you know, I'm on the side with the goats because I'm stubborn. You know what I mean? I mean, do you ever do that? Like, put yourself in that shoes, kind of like how you said the Father was showing you through your nieces at one point, and then now that you're living here in the homestead and we got all these different things. I mean, does it ever speak to you, like in your spirit, like, damn?
Yes.
Me?
Just looking at everything, nature, growing things, animals, and how just learning the animals and how they are naturally, and then, you know, you may be dealing with in different aspects. Even my nieces, I can be yelling at them for something, or even the children yelling at them for something, and then y'all's like, you do that. So I'm like, oh, okay. Yes, yeah. I understand now. I've been asking about that, and now I see why or how, and so on and so forth. I do consider, well, not consider, but I do have stubbornness. So I do, look at the goats or different animals, or animals that we have. We just have those now that are stubborn. But
The dogs can be pretty stubborn sometimes. They can be.
stubborn or persistent, or yeah.
Depending on how you want to take that lesson on.
They can be persistent. I don't know.
And persistent is always not even always bad. So you got to figure out how you want to take it from them. Like, either y'all showing me how I need to be very persistent in a good way. Y'all been very persistent, of course, in a not good way. But you're showing me I need to be persistent at least. I mean, so each animal can teach you a lesson.
Yes.
Each gardening experience can teach you a lesson. I guess that's what we're getting at. So I know we kind of jumped around as far as the homesteading part. We talked about the spiritual aspect. We also talked about the laborious part, the fruit that you can gain, the fruit that you gain from your labor, like how we said, making the salsa and all the things that we've been able to benefit because we put our hands to the plow. Because that work, had we not put the labor that we put in, we wouldn't have gotten, the gardens wouldn't have looked how they did. We wouldn't have gotten the food production that we've gotten. I mean, I just opened up some beets that I can. And did I not? And I put it in the blender, and it just added. We didn't even have a lot that I was gonna add to it because I don't want to mess it up. And oh my gosh, the little smoothie thing I made, it was just a small thing, but it was so good. At least, did you like it?
Yes.
Did you get to try it?
I do.
See, and she liked it. And that came from our garden, so I was just cheesing. I was like, I'm gonna have to tell Master that we need some of this because those beets are good, and I want some more. I mean, so we have those things, and we get to reap the benefit. And it's exciting. So I was excited today. She was excited making that salsa. We're excited making homemade meals because we got all this food coming from the garden. I'll be excited when Master let us pick that squash. We have a squash, y'all, that's like, I'm not even exaggerating. It's like this big. It's kind of fat. I mean, it's big. It's a big old squash. But anyway, so these things are exciting, but you got to put in the labor. So sisters, even just from what you heard from Sister Rivka, you can prepare at home, and you should. If you are not in a situation like that, but you are going on this new transition, start preparing from these things. Learn from those who are speaking to you now, some of the examples who are coming forward now. Learn from those people, and do start preparing yourself. But just know you have to have the strength, like the Bible talks about, enduring. You have to be able to endure because, like she said, from what she prepared from, she prepared, and then when she had to live it out, she's like, whoa, this is a shock. This is different, because when you live it, it's a whole lot more to it. And you gotta, because it's you have to do it every day. Every single day, this situation's in your face. Problems that come up, it's every day. It's every day. And if you have a problem that you have to fix, or a spirit on you have to fix, you got to work on that thing every day. If you are knocking heads with your sister, you're going to see that sister every single day. And the problem is not going to just leave from out of your sight. And you have to face it. You have to deal with it. You have to overcome so y'all can move forward. And every day that you let that problem linger affects the household, your husband, your master. It affects the children. Yeah, cutie. It affects everybody. It'll get in between what you're trying to do and accomplish. Hey, little one. And then, and all that, we told you about the garden, the goats, and all that sort of thing. You still have little ones like this. You still have children. You have to care for daily. So, these are the things that we hope that you all are preparing for. We hope that you all are, taking it serious, taking your preparation time serious, because it's very important. And if you're already in it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Sister Sky knows exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you other ones, sisters who already lived lives like this or similar, you know what I'm talking about. So we hope what we talked about was very helpful, useful information. We'll open up this time to read all of y'all comments because y'all put a lot of comments. And if anybody have questions, please use this time to ask questions. Or if there's something that y'all wanted to ask or to have us discuss a little bit, please put it in the questions in the comment section now so we can read it and answer your questions. Alright, so I'm going to go back up from the last comment I remember us reading, and we'll make our way down. Did you say hi? Oh, wow, there's so much eyes. He said, glow, glow. All right. Sisters. Okay, we're going to start off with, I'm not using a walker yet, Sister Amy. She's so funny. Sister Amy, you're not using a walker yet? No, you're not. You're not old, Sister Amy. Okay, we're going to start off with Princess Maria Yasharala. All right, she said, sisters, did y'all get along at first? Did we get along at first? Yes, we did actually. We did. We ran into some struggles. With me, her and I, we mostly run into communication struggles and having to deal with I don't know how to put it. How would you put it? More so, because we got along at first. So.
Right.
I think it was more, maybe she can explain it. How would you say?
Assimilating to the family. Not just assimilating to your husband, but you're having to assimilate to each other, so to speak. Learning each other, learning how to work together, fulfilling your master's vision together. It's many different things. Communication, humbling yourself, loving your sister as yourself.
Probably not.
Just learning each other and learning how to work together in the marriage, in your master's marriage, because every household is different. So we are learning how our master wants sisterhood to be in his home and how he wants his wives to be, and learning each other and being productive and getting all the many different things done every day that we're supposed to get done, and keeping the home running smoothly. There's already 5 children in the home, and we're adding more children. So just having a functioning home, the way our master wants his home ran, and learning each other and doing it together. Yeah.
But as far as just getting along, yeah, we actually started off getting along, and I won't say we don't get along now. We get along now. It's just that, yes, we do. I think too, like, so many things play a role. I mean, she's coming. I think it was the lack of understanding each other. She doesn't know what it's like for me to do certain things, and I don't know what it's like for her. I don't know what it's like, what she's taking on and what she's feeling and what she could be going through, and what if things are overwhelming her in a sense, because she came from, remember, having no children to 5. Then she has to carry a child. Then she's carrying a child, and her body is going through changes she's never experienced before. Being a homestead life is just altogether a different story, and the constant day-to-day duties, tasks, and things like that. It could be a bit overwhelming for the first time. She's like, I just started this, and wow, look how much of my life has changed. So that's where I got to be humble, and that's where I got to be understanding. Like, my sister is going through something, and she's transitioning, and she's a little different because she's so quiet. I don't really know her emotions. She don't share them very often. Because she's just different. She's, you know, me, I'm more outgoing, like I will talk to you, I'll do all that sort of stuff. She likes to fill you out. Hold on. You want to give me that? Go, Mama Ripton. But that's where, as we were talking about before, where we realize, we need to humble ourselves. Like, I gotta be understanding to her plight. We're just coming together for the first time and having to live this and put together. We were two strangers before then. We have a masterpiece, but we have a whole lot to do, and this could be overwhelming at first. Doesn't mean she doesn't need to adjust and move forward. No, but however, I gotta know, as being her sister and caring for my sister, what she may need from me, what I need to be patient with, what I need to be more humble with, what she needs from me in that aspect, and how I can be an example, a help, kind, things like that. Because I don't know what she's experiencing. And in this walk, you're going to have challenges. We're supposed to be lifting each other up. We talk about the verse all the time, our master does, and then we repeat it. But two is better than one, and you're supposed to have good reward, but you can't get that reward if you're not working together. And if you're fighting, you gotta understand. You gotta lift each other up. They have good reward because they do lift each other up when they fall. But if you see your sister falling, and you over there like, good, stay on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, you got that kind of sister, you're in trouble. You got one, you fall, and you like, yeah, two is better than one. You gonna help me up? She like, no, you can stay there. You stay right there on the ground. I'm just gonna do what I do. You know what I mean? You don't want that type of relationship. And so us learning each other, learning to communicate with each other, things like that. When we have done it, and we've been doing it more. Actually, we've been doing it a lot more lately, even the more so. But we did have some trying times, but we've been doing a lot more, and we see results from it. We see results. We are able to be more pleasant toward each other because we are now communicating a little bit more. So now it's like, it cuts out all the misunderstandings and things like that. So, but yes, ma'am, Princess Armoria. So yeah, we did get along. You sound like me, haha. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yes, it's hard to find people you trust these days. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I would say for me, coming into an already well-established home and marriage of 10 years, it's not is, a process or a learning experience. As the third, I guess, now transition second, second wife, I think if you are going into polygyny, some women, we aren't always the first wife. Just being prepared of coming into an already established home and learning how things are done, or how the master, how the husband runs his home, and the first wife has already been there and already knows and been learning the husband, so she already knows what the husband wants, how things are ran, and learning from her. You just can't just put it in your mouth.
No, you guys just spill.
I think you do it on purpose.
You hear that?
I think you do it on purpose because you're just a badger. Just a badger.
He wants to feed. He is adamant about feeding himself. Well, that's good. Huh? See, I'm growing up, y'all. I'm growing up on this. Look at that.
So I think that is the main thing, along with, learning true biblical sisterhood and learning how to be a wife and biblical marriage and homesteading and off-grid living and all of that.
Yes. Sister Roshina. Oh no, Sister Sky. Actually, there's a part we didn't read to one of her messages. It says, in a particular way, for the first wife to help teach and admonish a second to fulfill her place in her husband's needs. Yes, ma'am, and to a degree, I have to do that. And then to a degree, she's been able to pick up on it, and he explains it himself as well. And then we are both held each other kind of accountable to what we're supposed to be doing. Rashana said, polygyny done right under the instruction of the Torah is a beautiful thing. Yes, I would say so as well. I would say so as well. Boy, stop. Sister Amy, you had a lot to struggle to get where you are now, that's for sure. I'm not sure who that comment was directed at because we didn't read comments like right when they happened. But yes, it has been a struggle to get where we are, and I'll say that's probably both of us feel that way. It's just not an easy path. You don't just walk into it. You do have to work for it and work at it, Sister Amy. So yes. Sister Laperi, Asaya, Benea, Hosea's wife, said, Shalom, Sister Sky. That makes me think of a comment that Sister Gina Murray made regarding the first wife already proved herself, needs not to feel threatened. As long as she's sowing goodness, she will reap goodness. No other wives can block that or stop it from happening. The law of reaping and sowing applied to marriage. And I would say, sister, you're absolutely right. But here's the thing about reaping and sowing. You sown good seeds, but you've also sown bad seeds, especially if you come out of this world. And I know I'm not speaking for everybody else's household. I know there's people who shared some things with me before, and a lot of times because we come out of this particular society, we were not raised biblically Torah and how to be a wife and so on and so forth. The law of applying for reaping and sowing works both ways. It works for the good seeds and the bad seeds. So even for me in my experience, as far as marriage is concerned, I've had to reap the bad seeds I've sown as well, just as I have to reap the good seeds. And there's some struggles that I've had just in marriage in general, because at some point in life, I've sown not good seeds as well. And then I've also seen some benefits from the seeds that I've sown that's good. And you're right, another person can't block what is supposed to happen, that where you reap and you're gonna sow those things. And if it's a good thing, they can't block it, but you can hinder, you could be a hindrance to that if you continue on in that path of sowing bad seeds, because remember, it goes both ways, blessings and curses, so you want to sow good seeds, and yes, Yah's gonna make sure you receive that increase as long as you continue. You continue that path of righteousness and things like that. So there is no need for me to be upset with or another sister, or fear that, as long as I'm living righteously, as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I've talked about that before in a video, well before I had sister wives, that as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I have no need to fear what another sister does or try to do or whatever. That that would be covered. However, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you may have needs to fear, because you're not doing things righteously. But yes, that is absolutely correct. Ezra Yanisha, oh, we didn't see you before. Shalom. She said, Shalom, sisters, just getting off work. Love the topic already. Yes, ma'am. I hope you liked it so far. Sister Sky replies to Shauna. Greed is strength and peace and charity. I think it makes the miserable world turn their heads and stare and wonder what they are missing. It's evidence that Yah's way is best. Absolutely, Yah's way is best. Eliana, that's commendable, and I love the fact that you are sharing your heart and position change. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Eliana. Thank you. I hope you are grasping something from it. I hope it's edifying y'all. I hope y'all can use this information for the betterment of your husband's household, your family, and so on. Sister Carrie Thompson says, yes, work together in shalom, not in pride. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That is definitely the goal. Yah says, yes, Yah will grant our prayers and test the sincerity of our prayers. Careful of what and how you pray for things. Yes, ma'am. That is definitely true. You do have to be careful what you say, what you testify of, because yes, he will test that sincerity.
Right.
He's gonna prove you. So, yes, ma'am, you are absolutely correct. Roshana says Sister Sky, but basically the world's ways as we see it generate dysfunction and uncertainties, both for men, women, and children. Yes, which is why it's important for us as we are learning to teach our children so they don't operate in that same dysfunction that we have operated in. You know, because we are still trying to tear dysfunction from us, get dysfunction far away from us, get all this uncertainties and, you know, the confusion that they've sowed in us. We're trying to still put all that far from us as we learn in righteousness. And we get this opportunity to learn, to change, to grow, and then to raise our children properly, so they don't be dysfunctional as we were. And the baby badger, being a badger, of course. So yes, ma'am. He doesn't care. Sister Carrie says, I think wife sisters need to help each other in their weaknesses to make each other stronger for the sake of the master and of Yah. Yes, ma'am, Sister Carrie. Sister Carrie also says, this has been a year for me relearning things, and I'm not done yet. Yes, ma'am. And neither are we. What you
I
say?
don't think you would ever really be done learning things in this walk. It's always something to learn.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
are always striving for perfection and truth. So, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Agreed. Sister Deborah Kessler said, 7 years here, still learning. Shalom. Truth. Sister Deborah, I don't think you got to be 20 years in. And you're going to be like, I'm still learning stuff.
Right.
So, yes, ma'am. Let's see. Oh, she said, I came in late. Are we having a baby? We are. I said, yeah. And then I said, yes, 6 years here, still learning. Yes, ma'am. Now, our baby badger just made a big mess. And Mama Ripley was trying to clean it on up. Let's go down. Ezra Yanishi said, you two are great examples.
Very humble.
Very humble. Yeah, it is. Thank you. Daughter of Yah says, I love you women's humility.
And that's another thing too. You know, I pray for my husband to find me. My husband ended up being following Yahshua, a great example to Israel, and his wives are examples now too. So
That's a transition in and of itself,
right.
huh? Have to be in the spotlight all the time. You're like, man. When you have to be a living example, you are definitely put to the test. And you're on the spotlight of every little thing that's happening in your life. Oh man. That's a transition. Some people are like, I would love to be on camera. We're like, right. We were running away from the camera.
Right. I'm already a shy person and stuff. Never would have thought. Never would have thought.
Right. And Master will be able to tell you. He'd like make a video and I'm looking like, do I have to? Can I just be in a video with you and call it a day? Like, I was shunning the whole video thing. But then, you know, it's kind of like one of those reality checks come to you. Listen, if you don't want the job, y'all can give it to somebody else. Wait, well, hold on. I'm not saying all that.
Right.
I'm not saying I want y'all to reject me now. I mean, if he's saying I gotta get up there, and he was like, and you're gonna hold yourself accountable. I'm like, oh, okay. That's kind of scary too. Because I don't know everything. Even the testimonies I give you, I'm like, I'm not even finished working in some of these areas. But you know what? It ended up still helping people. Like, I didn't have to be fully there because other people are like, hey, we're doing this walk too. We don't have no example. I mean, sometimes it made other people feel good that there was somebody else going through that same struggle too, that they're like, I'm not alone. And they're sharing their testimonies of things that they're learning from. And even if they ain't got it, they're not there 100%. They're sharing where they've made error and different things that they're learning, that they change, and things that work, and you also learn what's not going to work. You know what I mean? And we can walk it together. So, you know, in that aspect, I guess it's a really good thing. But I wasn't running to the camera. I was like, yeah, let's get on camera. It's like a video needs to be made. I was like, You know, and now it's kind of like, you know what, I just accept it. If this is what y'all want, okay. Just accept it. Accept it, or he don't need you. I don't want him to not need me now.
Right.
I want him to be able to use me where he can. And, you know, sister, like I said, same thing. I don't really want to talk on. I'm really not trying to do that. But I don't want you to give up on me either. So if this was the role you have from me, we accept it. We accept it. So hallelujah for that. Let's see. Sister Carrie Thompson says, I've learned from you sisters, you have been good examples of humble wives who overcome. Sister Carrie, we are still fighting to overcome a lot of things. We are striving to be that humble example and to overcome. And it'll be a beautiful thing when we can get on camera again and say we have overcome. We have humbled ourselves to the point where we have overcome, and when we can actually testify to exactly what routes that we took, where we went wrong and where we went right, and we can have that final testimony. We did overcome this. I wanted to get to that one. We are overcoming in steps and we've overcome certain things and boundaries and made great steps and everything, but we are still right there with you sisters, striving. We are still fighting out the good fight. We are still striving to overcome old habits and things like that. So we are not above any of you in any way in that aspect. We are still having to make steps and strides and things like that, and it's going to be a blessing to me, especially with some of the things that I know that I've struggled with for years, that people have asked me, can you do a video on how to overcome that? And I have not even had the confidence that I can't, because I have not overcome it. I have made steps and I've grown, but I have not overcome that thing just yet. But I will be glad, and it's going to be a blessing to be able to come before you and say, I've overcome this. That's fact. And here's what I had to go through, though. And here's what I had to do. And if that means that some of you learn, hallelujah. I mean, I was going to say, you probably can say the same thing for yourself, right?
I have lots of them.
But you'll be happy to get the testimony of how you.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be.
I will be glad.
Yes. So, but we do appreciate your humble comments and stuff to us, you know, still, you know, y'all put a lot we have to live up to, but we're happy to know that you all are being helped. Asaya says, yes, being refined like gold. Tried and tested. Oh, yes, ma'am. Sister Sky, so I'm reading back from the comments that y'all were posting during all that time we were talking, so please bear with us. If y'all had new comments, I have no idea what you said yet, but I'm getting it. We are working with one phone. We got one right here. We're working with one, and the children have one. So the comments, but we'll get through them. Sister Sky said, yes, you are proof that it can be done. Women can live together as sisters, friends, and wives to the same husband. The lies of Satan tells you about women's relationships are now void and impotent. You are absolutely correct, Sister Sky. Sisters can live together, can have the same husband. They can be friends, best friends in fact. They can have a sisterhood. They can do all those things. That is fact. You just have to want to do it. You just have to want to be obedient. You just have to humble yourself. You can do it. It's fact. And we are living examples of sisters who are striving for that every day. Sister Sky and her co are living examples of sisters that are striving for that every day. And we know other families as well that are living examples, that have been living examples, have had these relationships for a while now, like years, who are being living examples of that same, who has that same testimony, and who are still striving, who are perfecting their sisterhood, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, so on and so forth.
Sister Carrie Thompson said you must listen to your master or you wouldn't be still there, like, LOL. Yes, you do have to listen and submit and obey your master. Otherwise, no, I would not be here. We've been married 8 months. It's been a fast 8 months. It's about to be a year. And I'm going to be having our first child before our year anniversary. So it's a lot. Good example of obedient wife who submits. Sure. Sister Sky, we do not have to compete. Very true. Because we are taught that in the Western world that women have to compete for each other. We, have to be the best one, have to be better than the other woman, sister, other women. We do not have to compete. We do not have to be critical. We do not have to slander. We do not have to undermine. We do not have to rule each other. Very, very, very true. And those things we have to overcome and renew our mind as sisters in faith to do the opposite. Love each other as ourselves, lift each other up, wanting the same thing that you want for yourself, for your sister, wanting to help your sister, not competing. All of those things we have to unlearn in the Western world. Sister Danielle, this is a beautiful thing. I thank y'all for you all. You all help me grow. Nothing you have done or scar faces has gone in vain. And Sister Eliana had agreed that, which, I say the same thing. I hate the things that I've learned, and I'm 34 when I married Master Soul. I've learned a whole bunch of wrong things and having to unlearn it. So I hate everything that I've learned. I was going to say everything that I've learned up to now, but some things, are good. But everything from the Western world, everything from the world, everything that I've learned from the world, I hate it with passion. I hate the emotions, even though we're supposed to have good emotions, but the emotions that affect us, affect our sisterhood, affect obeying and submitting to our master, affect us walking out in this faith, walking out in truth. I hate those emotions. The rejection, the pride, all of those different things. I hate them. And the more that you've been acting out those different things, the harder it is to get rid of, and the more work you have to do to overcome those things. So I do hate everything that we've been taught and all of this nonsense, and having to unlearn everything. Especially for me, 34 years is a long time of unlearning things. Sister Amy Patterson, that's just like when I look back on how I was before coming into the faith. I get disgusted and I don't even know that person anymore. Yes, ma'am. And two, I never would have thought that I would be in a biblical marriage. Never would have thought, but I thank y'all. It just seems right. It's just unlearning different things and learning how we should be. That's the hard part. That's the thing that we have to work on. Wanting and striving, not giving up, having the mind to overcome, because it's not easy. You have to literally put down pride in almost everything, because you don't want to think you're right. You don't want to think that things should be a certain way when y'all's like, no, this is how you need to be. This is how it's supposed to be done. This is how this is truth. and so it is going to be done this way. This is how I want it to be. This is how you should be. Sister Carrie Thompson, jealousy and trying to compete will turn sister wives against each other and will ruin the household.
Okay.
Yes. Must learn to overcome all this, must learn to overcome all this. That is from the enemy of old. Yes, you do have to overcome it. Even if, say, you've never really been a jealous person, when you come into a biblical marriage, I would almost say that it's different levels, different forms of jealousy and competing that can come up. So if anything is in you, even different from pride, anger, any of those things, demonic spirit that you're not supposed to have, if they're in there and they haven't manifested before, they're going to start manifesting. When you start living truth and walking in the faith, and for us women actually coming into biblical marriage and being side by side, whether it's walking biblically in just you and your husband, but also in biblical marriage where you're having a sister wife and having to actually work with another person that can be totally different personalities from you, and you know, because it's just different. You're two totally different people. You may not have even say been friends or anything in the world, because with friends. Okay. Calm down.
What happened?
He is really hurt.
Right.
With friends, normally, I would think, correct me if I'm wrong, and now he's telling the story. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's normally kind of the same personality, same characteristics, like-minded people. But coming into a biblical marriage, the like-mindedness can start from only the faith and living the Bible and walking out in truth, and it starts from there, and then you have to adjust to the different personalities of the two different sisters, and learning to work together in a biblical marriage. I hope I kind of explained that right. Yes, he was telling my mom what was happening. Sister Sky was coming to when Sister Sky was talking. It is a little rudder that turns the whole ship. I believe it was what Sister Sky was saying. She doesn't know how Sister Sky is learning from her, being that Sister Sky is older and has more experience, but Sister Sky still has learned things, and Sister Sky is still an example to Sister Sky. It is a little rudder that turns the whole ship. You might offer small corrections, but they completely redirect my attention towards righteousness and expose by the Spirit my own iniquity. Sister Carrie, yes, you bless it when you allow another sister to teach you the things you lack, and that takes humbling and the removal of pride. Let's see. My husband of Yah is like a beautiful garden, Sister Carrie said. You go to him for the good things. It's fulfilling, watering him with the care of a wife. Sister Amy, it's always good when you have a honest head when it comes to cooking. That way you know what dishes please him and which not to make again. I see it as blessing for more knowledge. Yes, and our master is very honest about what he likes and what he doesn't like. So those new dishes, if he doesn't like them, he will tell you. Yes, ma'am, and through the freezing winter. Okay, so that was commenting on the goat.
Oh, Sister Sky, let me tell you about that real quick. Through the freezing winter, that's going to be a little nerve-wracking. Trying to still make sure the goats are taken care of properly. That's going to be pretty interesting, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, most of the animals we have not had through the winter. This will be the first winter.
Yes.
Taking care of the animals. The chickens and the goats. The dogs, they've been here. They were born in the winter.
Yeah, they're born in winter. I'm surprised they survived.
Oh, yeah.
But taking care of the animals in the winter, that is going to be interesting even for us. Or if our doe is still milking, or we have other does at the time milking and trying to, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Master is building something for them, and I'm sure, at least I hope, I know there's some sort of plan in action for them. So we'll see what happens, and either way, we'll take it on. It's going to be interesting.
Sister Eliana said, how do you manage all of this being in your second trimester? It can be hard. I know for both of us, it's trying to find that energy. Trying to find the energy. Because it hardly is any.
And it does make a difference. We have to, I mean, so for me, I can say by having multiple pregnancies in both systems, living on grid in the city and then living off grid, it's a different story. When I don't have energy, it's usually some sort of deficiency sometime with my vitamins, maybe how much nutrients certain thing in certain areas I may need. But also the second portion is living off grid is different. Living out here, out of the city, just even the way our land is sloped. I mean, all those things play a role. You get tired a lot faster. When I was in the city, I was tired, but I think some of that tiredness was just part of, honestly, I shouldn't have been that tired. I was tired, and it was just like pregnancy symptoms mostly that was causing me to be tired, like when I was nauseous, and there was times I felt weak or whatever. But in reality, in the city, you ain't doing that doggone much. I mean, I thought I was at the time until you went this way. I'm like, whoa, okay, I wasn't doing nothing. But then living now here and off grid, and I had this baby here, living here, so I do have that first experience and going through it again. And she can say probably living in the city, how tired she used to get from, and then now living here, it's a totally different experience. I mean, everything we do, we're walking on slope land. I mean, we are holding jugs of water and carrying them to animals and bringing them for ourselves, and going up hills and down hills and picking food and processing. You know, there is a lot. And then doing it in the heat of the summer too, I mean, it's really draining as well. So those things are where the challenges come in, you know. So yes, trying to stay energized fully through our whole awake period, so we can get enough done is challenging. We do get a lot of stuff done, but I know that there's more things, you know, we wish we could get done, or we just can't complete in that day, and we have to, all right, knock that one out the following day because we don't have the time, we don't have the energy, or we're not maybe moving as fast as we would if we were not carrying at this time. So yes.
Yes, Sister Amy, our master does plan on building a stand for milking. Stand.
What?
When you're talking about how it's women wear like the goats.
Sister Sky said goats are naturally high-minded too. They are always trying to get up on top of something, the highest point around, even if that is you.
Is that not true?
Yeah.
Our doe, she's right. Our doe is always standing on something. And here's the
middle
funny,
of the night, she's standing. I'm like, don't you go to sleep?
yeah, and she does it more than our male goat, huh? The nerve of that goat. See, that's telling you a testimony about women. That's why we gotta be careful. Because man, our doe, she'll get up on anything. We have logs that are around, and wherever we decide to put them, she gonna stand on a log or something. She have to be above everything. She don't want to get down unless she about to eat. If she ain't eating, she on a log or something. She's standing up. Our male goat, he fine. He'll just go around, but she'll be on the top of a log like what? She sure do. That was a good comment.
She said, where my beet juice thing? What the beet juice thing is. The drink. Who wants to try some beet juice?
Master, that was beet juice that I blended for me. I mean, you had your smoothie we blended for you, and I was blending some of the beets that I was kind of canned, fermented a little bit. I blended it, and it was goodness.
He also said, how about visiting to see what it is like? I'm not sure exactly what he was referring to at that time.
Maybe the home, we were talking about a lot of homesteading, or women transitioning.
How about if a woman was to visit? I didn't technically visit. That wasn't my experience. I just came to a master's land and you were there. And I was here. But yes, it is good if you can, say maybe during feast days or anything like that, if you are able to fellowship, visiting a homestead or interacting with different Israelites or potential husbands and wives, that is good. Sister Jawanda said, do we have PayPal? Yes, we do. It is in the description box. Sister Eliana said, so basically, prepare as much as you can, but in your preparation, also be prepared to be flexible when situations arise, because there will arise.
Yes. Absolutely correct.
Yes. Sister Kara said, beet juice is high where we are, and glad to grow and not bind. Sister Sierra said, I don't have goals, but I relate to what you said about seeing the behavior in yourself. I saw it caring for my grandma. Is that how it is for others to deal with me? It's like a mirror in a way. Yes, it is.
Yes, ma'am. That's true.
Sister, when the household gets tense, everyone upset about something that has happened. Children bickering, y'all both exhausted, it's hot, y'all all hungry. What do you do to regain shalom, peace, wholeness, peace? Did she ask?
That's what I was thinking. Is this a Sky where you gonna be asking that question, or you kind of just bringing it to the forefront? Because we will answer if that's what you're doing.
Sister Eliana said, Sister Ripka, did or do you ever feel overwhelmed by being on YouTube, encouraging, teaching other women? Yes. Naturally, I've always been, but shyness, timidity, all of that is not biblical. We should all be willing to share a testimony and able to fellowship and give our testimony and be able to speak and love on each other, and just be able to speak about the word, faith, our experiences, what we've learned, so on and so forth. So
I've always been. I won't say it's natural for me, but I've always been a shy person, so I'm having to overcome that part. So yes, it can be overwhelming. Sister Carrie Thompson, I don't know, but if the household is tense, I would pray, ask y'all to show me something I can do or say to bring everyone shalom, walk in the spirit during the tough times, so I can be a help when needed.
Oh, that's the one from Germany.
Sister Angela said, I'm 20 years in. Trust me, you will forever be learning. I'm grateful to have a husband that's willing to teach me.
Hallelujah.
Yes, ma'am. Sister Carrie said, yes, the goal is to be with a head who is called and chosen, I pray. Then can trust him to lead me, teach me in the right direction. Yes, ma'am. Shalom, Sister Crystal. You had asked where's Sister Abigail. And thank you. You said you love our the videos, and we're happy that you were able to catch our live stream for the second time. Sister Abigail is no longer with us. We have spoken about that on previous live stream. Not sure which one it is, but she is no longer with us or a part of the household. Sister Angela said, always accept the will of the Father and you will have peace. Yes, ma'am. I agree with you wholeheartedly. You have to be in the Father's will. You have to be willing to be, you have to be malleable and striving for truth and wanting whatever the Father has for you. And willing to know that in your chasing, Yah chastens those that he loves. So it is hard, but you just have to have a mind to want to overcome. As long as Yah is still dealing with you, then learn and overcome and move forward. And keep striving to overcome. And to be in the Father's will. And so Angela said, that's right. You can't teach something you haven't overcome. When you overcome something, it becomes personal when you tell others. Yes. I hate the lies, Sister Rashana Yisrael, I hate the lies that the Western world has told women. Saying you can have it all. Being a stay-at-home mom is the greatest blessing. I would agree. And I'm thankful that Yah has placed a desire in me to be a stay-at-home mom, a Israelite mother. We're getting to the bottom. Okay, yes, so Scott said she is asking a question about how do you bring peace and shalom when all of these things are happening. I would say for me is you know, I guess identifying the problem, the issue, whether it's with me or I guess with the other person, humbling, asking the Father for help. I forget the exact question. She said she was. Oh, she said when the household gets tense, everyone upset, being grateful. I mean, I guess it's always a learning experience. That if learning how to react in the correct way.
say if those things come and they affect your shalom, learning from those experiences and how to react still in shalom and with shalom, with peace, complete peace, and in the biblical manner. Shalom, Sister Saya. Shalom, Sister Doris Lee. Sister Eliana said, I'm low-key hilarious.
Who you are?
Yeah. Our master said, being grateful is key. Y'all could take it all away. Then what? Yes. What if y'all took everything away that you had, that you were complaining about, that you were ungrateful about? Then what? Then what would you have? Then you would be wanting and desiring what you already have, that you were not grateful for. You were not taking care of it.
Sometimes I was gonna say Sister Sky's questions that she actually intended for it to be answered. Yeah, you do have to be grateful. And sometimes, you know, it's not as easy as saying, oh, pray, be grateful, right? Like how we said, it's just the same way Sister Ripka gave your testimony. You can prepare for something, but you are in the fire. You are just different when you live it daily. Sometimes, you know, I feel like we get real Christian-y, like how we've been taught in Christianity. Everything is, if this happens, I'm just gonna pray to Yah. And what if Yah don't answer you right then and there? What if he's saying, no, you're gonna stand on your own 2 feet and you need to recall my word? This is the time for you to have self-control. You know, it's sometimes not just easy to just say I'm gonna pray. Because how many times I've experienced it. I feel like it's all in the aspect of I've been in a tough situation. Stop. Go, Mama. I think he wants you to hold him. Oh. He wants you to get up and give him something. Oh. Sometimes we say things like, oh, I'm just going to pray and it's just going to work out. Well, when you're living that daily, you can pray. I've prayed when things were tough, and guess what? It didn't change. I just had to face and live that situation. Nothing magical changed. You know what I mean? There's times I prayed. There's times I tried this method. There's times I tried that method, and sometimes everything you try fails. Then what? So it is something that is inside of you that you're going to have to bring forth, that you are growing. You know, you do have to have a gratitude. You do have to humble yourself in the situation. It depends on what the situation is. If the children get too overwhelming and there's no shalom sometimes, Sister Ripka and I know one of the things when our master's at work, if I start seeing that we got tasks to do and she's not readily available with me to combat some of the things because she may be finishing another task and she needs to focus on that and I'm trying to focus over here, I get all the children. Everybody come sit down. We're going to calm things down. We're going to get a restart. Everybody, I want you all sitting right here because I need to see y'all. It's too many of y'all. It's 5 of y'all running around. Emotions are high. People hungry. They got all this. And then we're going to shut the whole thing down. We having some quiet time. Everybody about to sit down up in here for 10, 15 minutes. Everybody, we starting over. Sometimes you just got to regroup. Sometimes you got to just come back and revisit it. Deal with the emotion and come back and readdress it again. And those things I do find helpful. I tell you, these little ones get to acting up, all of them. Everybody line up, sit down. Do I not have to be sitting here? Sit down. Everybody. Too much. Everybody's everybody's emotion needs to be checked. Y'all sit down. We starting over. Everything you doing, we stop it. Y'all gonna calm it down so we can actually deal with issues, because it's not their fault if we're emotional or we're tired. We can't take it out on them, or we can't allow the children to get in such a manner that we cannot control ourselves because they're acting a certain way. We already should be putting that in check. And so those are some things we do have to exercise. And if it's with us adults, that is where gratefulness and humility come in big time. Because a lot of times, if you're not resolving a problem, there's some sort of lack of gratefulness, lack of pride, there's not lack of pride. There's a lack of gratefulness and a lot of pride. And pride operating because you feel like you're right. Well, they the one who did this to me. They the one who needs to, it's always they instead of you. And why can't you stop and fix the problem? Why can't you change your spirit? Why can't you be the example? Even if it was somebody else's fault. And you shouldn't be thinking it's somebody else's fault. You should be looking at you. However, even if it was not you, it's kind of like why you can't change your spirit? Why can't you be that example of that change for everyone else? Why can't you sacrifice your pride to be an example for somebody else other than yourself? And so there's times I've been on both spectrums where I did not change my attitude, and you know, then I later, once I calmed down, you know, it was a prideful thing, there was something there, then I'm ashamed afterwards. You know, you feel real shameful, like, and disgusted, like, really? I could have probably done something about that. And there's other times that I have to think of it in that mindset of, why can't I just be an example of changing my spirit right now? Why can't I be that example? Who cares whose fault it was? Why can't I be an example of doing something different, you know, for once? Let me be that example. And all else will fall into where it's going, or into place. So that's just an example.
Sister Eliana said, how about taking a 5-minute breather, going for a walk or alone or something? Settling down your emotions and then dealing with the issues one at a time. That is good. That is good. We just have to be careful sometimes of separating yourself, because your mind and the devil can work on those emotions or those bad feelings even more, things in your thoughts, and have wrong thoughts where they need to be corrected, but you're still dwelling on them and they're getting worse and worse. So yes, 5-minute breathers can be good, but just be careful with separating yourself if it's not done correctly. Shalom Suzanne, she says, I don't even know if she's still on, but she said she had a tight schedule and she enjoyed the time, been able to listen. Blessings to all the sisters. Shalom. Sister Eliana said, come on, Sister T, sometimes when you are on fire, it's like Yah is saying, why you telling me? I've given you the tools to deal with it, but it's still going to be hard. Just go through it.
Ooh, wait.
Yeah. It's still going to be hard because you're still dealing with those emotions, the wrong thinking, renewing your mind, all of those things. It's still going to be hard. But yes, you just have to have the mindset to go through it. You have to have the mindset to humble yourself, to be able to hear and listen, to accept how you have played a part in the situation and correcting yourself first, getting the beam out of your eye first before trying to, correct the other person by saying, well, they did this and this is why this happened and so on and so forth.
That was very well put.
Sister Elia, thanks for that advice on the alone time. I never looked at it that way, but those quiet times can be dangerous.
Yes. And it's like, it just really depends. You have to, it's something you gotta kind of know. Like, this time ain't safe for me to be alone because I can't even humble myself. I can't even calm down when I can start looking at it. And there are other times where those times be helpful. Like, if I start getting real shamed, if I start feeling shamed about the situation, and if I'm hurting, and maybe I'm just trying to cry out, but I do know, and I can know in my mind I am accepting, taking responsibility and stuff like that. Sometimes those quiet times are helpful, but sometimes I just need to break down for a moment, and it's hard when you have a bunch of children around you all the time. I mean, I've tried to do it in the house, and it's like, Mommy, what's wrong? Mommy, Mommy, what just happened? Oh, no, So sometimes those are the times more so if I can get a moment. But yeah, you do have to be careful because then other times you think you're in that state of mind and the enemy just work on you more. It's like a setup. He's waiting for you to get out there. You're gonna try to, fix that. He's like, no, let me bring some stuff to your mind. So you have to time that. There are times where I've been able to walk away from the situation and I knew I was in the wrong. I was already accepting of it, and maybe I just wanted to cry it out. And I was thinking, well, what can I do to fix this? And I've walked it out from there. And there's other times that give me that alone time didn't help me. I wasn't ready to be alone just yet. Not yet. I needed a little bit more time because I wasn't really sure if I accepted responsibility yet. Like, I may have thought I had, but then there are some things that I wasn't fully accepting, or maybe I was still too much trying to say, well, you this person, you know, you still have some of that in you. I know what I did, but they, you know, you got all that stuff going on. That ain't the time to be alone. You know, because you haven't really even quite humbled yourself yet. You haven't even quite looked at it from the right perspective or angle yet. And getting that alone time don't always help, you know.
So we are going to be, yes, we are caught up. We are going to be bringing it to a close. I don't know if anyone else has any more comments. Anything else you wanted to speak about? Any comments, questions? We are going to be wrapping it up for this live stream.
Yes.
Oh, can you put my top on? Can you put my top on?
No.
You not?
Yes, if that's all of your comments, we will be. Shalom, sisters, and bless you. Yes. Well, we hope you have enjoyed the live stream. If that was all your questions and comments, yeah, we will be wrapping it up for this week. But remember, anybody who wasn't in the room when I made the announcement when the live stream began, we will be talking and discussing about the chapter 3 in Dr. D. Murray's The Them and Him on the next daughters of Sarah. So, sisters, this is an opportunity. You have plenty, time, and read through the start of chapter 3, and we will be discussing it on the next Daughters of Sarah live stream. Whether it be next week or the following week. We usually go every other week. Our schedule sometimes gets tight, so I cannot say exactly whether it be next week or the following week. If it is the following week, you actually may be able to finish chapter 3. And so if it is not next week but the following week, try to finish it if possible. If you cannot, don't worry about it. Everybody has families, everybody have that. I don't want to give a specific amount of pages to read, but we do have a full week at least or two to read this. And chapter 3, you can get done in a week to two, or at least chapter, a lot of the way through, because this talks about the wife role specifically, and this is a good thing to discuss. I mean, chapter 3 is good too. I don't know if anybody already read it, but chapter 3 is good. It's a good chapter, and we will be discussing it. We won't read it directly, but we will have a good discussion on it. We'll take notes. We'll be answering some of your questions or some things that y'all have learned that you can bring to the table as well. And we hope to have a good live stream, one that is going to bring edification to us all, to you all, and for us as well. So if you have notes and things like that that you wanted to pinpoint, that you wanted to talk about and discuss, things that stood out, things that you may be able to edify someone else with, bring those notes and those comments and things like that. Or if you have questions, you can do that as well. But we are here to have these live streams to edify one another. So yes, we will be going over that in the next Daughters with Sarah. We will give you a heads up in the Sisters Fellowship chat of when that live stream is. We'll give you an update. And so that's what we'll be doing. So that's one way you can prepare for that one. Shalom, Sister Amy. Okay, Sister Sky said, yes, ma'am. Thank you for the live stream. Looking forward to the next book discussion and fellowship with you all soon. Shalom, all sisters. Shalom, Sister Sky. Look forward to seeing you soon as well. Shalom, Sister Nina. And everyone else. Okay, so if that's all that we have, we want to say bless you all, sisters. Thank you for showing up. These live streams are made the way they are because of all of you that show up. And we have great fellowship because of the sisters that show up. Every live stream, every video, your comments, all these things are edifying to all of us. And we're just glad. We're glad every time you show up. We're glad every time you comment. We're glad every time you watch our videos. We're glad every time you support us in any way. Just showing up, hearing what we have to say, and then to know that it actually blesses you, blesses us. So we want to thank you all again.
Encourages us. God's really making us an example.
Right.
We're not just doing it in vain.
Yeah, and nobody wants to do anything in vain. So it is an encouragement when you all show up. It is an
Well, not in
encouragement.
vain, but it just encourages to keep going forward
Yes.
and overcoming.
So thank you all again.
Wait.
With that being said, we're going to bid you all a shalom. Have a productive Sabbath the rest of the week. We'll see you all again on the next live stream or the next video. God bless you all. Shalom.
Shalom.